Thanks for dropping in on the third episode of the Amp Surfer. I say dropping in, I don't even like people dropping in on me. It's a bit sucky, but never mind. And I'm definitely not a drop in kind of a guy. There's no way. No, I'm always looking. I'm not that dude. Anyway, thanks for popping in, dropping in. Let's just have dropping in. Let's stick with it. Today I just wanted to chat about the waiting period. It's kind of a surf competition terminology, I guess, but it's just a waiting period. Episode 2, last week I spoke about this telephone conversation that I'd had with my surgeon secretary, and the news that she broke to me, and how that affected me and what that felt like. And I think I wanted to expand on that a little bit. And because this week that's passed has been super interesting, because it feels like something and nothing, Last week when I got the news, there was definitely something happening, and now it's just waiting. So I just wanted to acknowledge that when I spoke to the medical secretary lady, that my insides tensed up, and it felt like they hit the floor, no question, But that only lasted about 6 minutes, and then I carried on with my workout. I was doing legs, and I kind of figured out really quickly that it's not the worst thing in the world, but I, it still needs acknowledging, that I guess for me, there's always an alternative or a bright side to whatever's going on in my life. But that's me. That's how I'm made up. That's how I'm built, But I do have to acknowledge the tension that's been going on since then. You can imagine like all the plans that we've had in place. 21st of October for us here in the UK, certainly down in Cornwall, was the beginning of the half term in schools. And so there was 2 weeks of juggling around and looking after my daughter and spending time with my family and all of those things. And now I get to do that. Without having just had an operation. So actually that's kind of cool. So I'm not moaning about that at all. But I just wanted to acknowledge, that tension, and I want to move forward, and I don't want to get stuck in the not yet. I don't know if that makes sense. I'll try and unpick it. It makes sense in my head, but we'll get there. So I want to use like an analogy. Hopefully some of us are surfers, and if you're not, then just go with it. So for me, I want to imagine. I don't know. Sounds like a session. Anyway, imagine this for a minute, right? If you're a surfer, it won't be difficult. If you're not a surfer, it's going to be difficult. However, we'll get there. I've just repeated myself. Anyway, we'll get there. So imagine there's like a 14-second period swell, and it's going to hit your local beach. And for us surfers, a 14-second period swell is kind of, it's going to be an epic day, it's awesome. And 14 seconds is the distance between each rising swell. So the swell moves through the ocean, and it's got waves in the ocean, right? And the wave boys that are out in the ocean are bobbing up and down, and they measure the bobbing up and down. And when they go, the time between it goes up, down, and back up again is the time that gives you a period in between each swell. And so for this instance in my imagination, it's 14 seconds. And I know 14 seconds at my local beach is epic. especially if the wind is in the right place and all of those things. So I'm going to imagine in this story, for all intents and purposes, that a 14-second swell is going to hit my local beach. It's going to be offshore wind. And in my imagination, because I'm imagining this, I'm paddling out all alone. There's no one out there. It's just me and this wonderful little perfection, 3 to 4 foot, beautiful kind of head, shoulder height wave, just lush. That's what I'm imagining. And so that's where we kind of get, well, that's where we're going to start from. Yeah. And in my imagination, I've paddled out and it's a dry hair paddle out. I haven't even had to duck dive. So everything is perfect in this imagination. First wave comes, paddle for that wave, drop in, mind surf it, come on, like screaming bottom turn, and then off the top, and then down the line, a few pumps, and then another off the top comes into a cut back off the foam, and then you're off again because my board's so fast, and it's a 20 and spider shaped it, so it's epic. And I'm just going down the line and poof, and hit a little front side air and then land it and then peel off the back and oh man, I'm paddling back out and my hair's still dry and I'm like, come on. That might have happened one time. Not really. It could happen. I'm hoping it'll happen. It's my imagination. Of course it's going to be perfect. I can do some of those, most of those things, all of those things. It's whether I can connect them all on one wave or we get a wave good enough. Anyway, this is my imagination. This is where we are. This is the story. So, you know, I kind of paddle back out and my hair's still dry. I'm frothing as because I've just had this epic wave that I just explained to you. And then I'm searching the horizon. I'm like sitting on my board, right? And I'm looking and there's nothing coming. Because it's a 14-second period. It's going to take time for each wave to come through. But, you know, they come in sets of, I don't know, 4, 3 or 4, 5 maybe. And then you got to wait. And sometimes that wait can be 10 minutes. It can be 3 minutes. It could be 15 or 20 minutes. Who knows? But quite often there's a long wait in between waves. But I'm doing this on my own in my imagination. There's no one else there. So the next wave's going to be mine. So I'm having to wait. And if I'm really honest with you, waiting's not my best game. I'm pretty rubbish at waiting. Yeah, it could be a whole nother story. It's the story. So I'm waiting and I'm getting impatient. You know, I'm paddling up and down. I'm kind of second guessing where I took off last time, and I'm looking at my markers, and I'm like, okay, well, this is the spot, and I keep looking, and I'm getting higher on my board, and I, you know, keep looking at the horizon, waiting for this next wave, and pretty much just being impatient. You know, the last wave was insane. You know, I want another one. You know, and where is it? Where's the next one? And I don't want to lose that momentum. You know, you've had a wave and you've got momentum and you're kind of like picking the things that you did and how the wave moved and how it reacted and maybe things you could do better, or next time if that section does that thing, then you're going to do something different or better, or you're going to anticipate it. That's a good thing. That wave's kind of not coming, but I'm ready. You know, I'm ready for that wave. It's taking its time. And I guess if we unpick it, if we unpack why I'm getting impatient on this most beautiful, perfect day, it probably comes down to like control. Like it's uncomfortable, right? But it comes down to control. Like I know the waves are going to come, right? But at the same time, I kind of want it to come now because I'm ready. And yeah, that you can work it out now, right? Where I'm going with this. But sometimes certainly I can't speak for we, I get quite impatient, and that is because I want to control the things around me. And that's not terrible. It's not the worst thing in the world. There's no anger involved or anything like that. It's just impatient, and I just want to get on. And anybody that knows me, hey, like properly, just knows I want to skip to the end and just get it done. And that's the truth of me. So that's honest. Yeah. So I guess um, this period, that I'm in now, kind of exposes um, control, and exposes in me that side of me that wants to control the things that are going on, because it's kind of safe, right? A lot of us probably feel like that. Um, like I said, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it does kind of expose it and make you look at it. And then I guess if you've got the opportunity to look at it, then you can kind of dissect it a little bit if you want to go there. And I guess that's what I've been doing recently, um, with this journey is kind of dissecting who I am and what it's about, because it is bigger than just this amputation, and it's bigger than uh, trying to become an adaptive surfer. Because on that journey to those things, it's gonna expose the things about you, and I guess if you're open enough, if you're humble enough within yourself, then there's an opportunity to really look at those things, and look at your motivations, and look at who you are, and the people around you and stuff like this. So it's a big journey. It's not just about having your leg chopped off and then looking to become an adaptive surfer. It's a lot more than that, but like I said, you got to feel like you want to be part of that journey, um, or just be humble enough to accept that this is all going on, and it's okay. Take a moral inventory. I think maybe that's important, and be honest about yourself and with who you are to yourself. But I think I said in another episode, have those people around you, yeah, and that's a really good thing too. But it starts here, starts with this person. So, am I in control, or do I have to let go of that control and just trust? So if I'm sitting out there and I've had a perfect wave, what I would like to do is the next one come along so I can keep that momentum and that flow. But that's not the way of it. I have to trust that, I know the ocean's gonna produce another one. So I just have to wait. And while you're waiting, that's when you start to look at yourself, right? And I guess from looking at it from my faith angle, you know, um, which is always present, you know. I'll never ram it down anyone's neck, you know, but it's part of who I am, and what makes me who I am. Um, so from that angle, I would say that um, God would often do his best work in the waiting period. And that for me has been quite the revelation. You know, it's not punishment, it's preparation. And maybe you might want to pause there and kind of unpick that, and that's cool. But I'll carry on. So I guess And sticking with it, I guess sometimes God shows you, no, he does show you, but he'll slow you down because he's building something in you that can handle what's coming next. And I have to believe that. I totally believe that. Um, but if you don't have faith, I mean, just just think to yourself, okay, in this waiting period between this thing and this thing, am I growing? Is there an opportunity to take stock, take a moral inventory, to kind of look at who I am and what's making me tick and how am I reacting? Have I become a victim to all of this, or am I gonna try and rise above it or get alongside it and just move forward, you know? Yeah, I don't think I've ever been a victim in all of this. I totally, yeah, no, I just never have ever let it kind of beat me. And it's hard, it's tough, you know, there's no getting around that. It's super tough, but I've never been a victim. Yeah. I think I said in one of my other videos, possibly it would have been episode 2, um, that most people wouldn't know to look at me that there's something wrong or a lot of whole multiple things wrong because I don't kind of blurt it out. The most blurting or talking about it I've ever done to anyone is in these videos, which is so funny because I just don't tell people about what's going on, and here I am doing this. It's just funny. So all this waiting, um, this extended period that I'm in, it's not wasted time if it's shaping me, you know? And that's something to ponder just on its own, you know? I'll come out a better person at the end for sure. There's no question about that. It's, can you, in that waiting period, can I, in this waiting period between now and the operation, can I use that to improve, to shape me? You know, and on reflection, in some ways, you know, I had my hip surgery 3.5 months ago, resurface. It's quite a brutal op, and I've just been recovering from that, and it's quite a tough thing to recover from, and in some ways, it kind of dawned on me just the other day that, oh man, this extra time that I've got actually is going to allow me to build up the strength in my glutes and my leg to better prepare for what's coming next, you know? And although I want to get it done now so I can recover sooner in the new year, I'm also thinking, flipping heck, you know, I've got this extra time to build up, to shape, to strengthen. And that's no bad thing. So if in all of this, I've come out with extra time before the operation and it shapes me better, I mean, that's got to be so good, eh? Mm. So I guess that's where I want to leave it today. Um, yeah, it's good. It's positive, you know, but it's thought provoking. And if you can just quiet yourself a little bit, like I've done, that's what I've had to do. I've had to quiet myself and just do this moral inventory, like in this waiting period between operations, in this waiting period between waves when you're sitting on your board, like be aware of how you're coping with that. Be aware. I've had to be aware for myself how I'm coping with it, what my thought processes are, and also what I could do now to best use my time. And I think that's what I've tried to talk about today. Hopefully all of that makes sense to you. It's helping me talk about it, so I feel like this is, for me, like a video diary, and if it helps some people, then that's just really cool. Um, and I've had some cool feedback actually from episodes 1 and 2, so you know, I don't know where it's gonna go. I'm not too bothered, to be fair. It's just a really good time for me to sit and think and contemplate, and I get to talk to a little camera. Then hopefully somebody sees and goes, oh, that's good. Or that was thought provoking, or whatever it is. So anyway, thanks for dropping in, and thanks for watching, and thanks for being part of the Amped Surfer. Sweet as.